I have an addiction to my phone. That's actually hard to say out loud. I'm going to make a daily vlog about me breaking up with my phone, battling this addiction, using a book called How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price, which has amazing reviews everywhere. And I'm going to use that book to share a serious problem in my life. This isn't to reap in some kind of YouTube clout or to guilt anybody else into feeling like their phone use is inherently bad. It is genuinely just to share my experience of using this book to battle my problem and to kind of verbally journal. If this series helps someone along the way, that's great. If I end up never showing it to anybody, that's fine. If it stays on private on YouTube, that's fine, whatever. So it may sound a little silly to call phone use an addiction. I know I'm only maybe sort of kind of just now getting used to calling it an addiction versus just saying, oh, it's a problem, it's an issue. So let's start with a definition. I'm gonna read this directly. Medical News Today defines an addiction as an inability to stop using a substance or engaging in a behavior even though it's causing psychological and physical harm. For me, that addiction is the process of using my phone as a distraction to avoid any kind of responsibility or even to avoid things that I want, to avoid uncomfortable feelings like boredom or just being anxious, or to avoid having to do something that is mildly challenging. That's where my phone comes in and becomes a problem. So at the time of recording this is a Thursday night. It's technically day 8 of breaking up with my phone, of battling this addiction. I came to a sudden realization last Wednesday night that my phone use was more than just an issue, that it was an actual addiction, because I put my screen time for those previous 3 weeks into an Excel sheet and it averaged 6 hours per day. Now, screen time isn't inherently bad, but for me, again, like I was using it to avoid everything. And on my best day, those 3 weeks, it was still 4 hours of screen time of mostly TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. And on my worst day, it was 10 hours. I essentially spent the entire day nonstop looking at my phone, avoiding anything I could have, should have, maybe would have done on that day. 10 hours. That was on a Thursday, by the way. Like, not even a Saturday, Sunday, weekend, free day, a Thursday. And that was so upsetting. Like, I took a shower immediately after putting all of that into an Excel sheet, and I kind of just like broke down in the shower, realizing that this was a huge problem, right? 6 hours a day on average, that's 42 hours in a week. It's 91 days in a year. That's 25% of an entire year. That, for me, was totally unacceptable. You know, it'd be one thing if I was someone who just did one thing all day, had nothing else to do in free time, but I'm someone with a million hobbies. I have a lot of amazing friends. I live a pretty privileged life. There are so many different ways I could use that time. That not even that I could use that time, that I want to use that time. And no matter how much I sit there looking at my phone, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, I could tell myself as I'm scrolling, hey, Imran, you're in a trap. Go do something. Go take a walk. And I couldn't get up. I'd just be paralyzed, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And if you can believe it, I didn't think, as I was realizing that I had an addiction, to make a vlog series, which is why there's no content for the first 7 days. And after, thinking about, should I just battle this privately and just share it with a couple close friends, or should I, share it publicly? I was like, I should share this publicly for a couple different reasons. Number one, I've been able to hide this addiction for so long so effectively because when I'm around people, I don't want them to even remotely think that I have an issue, right? I didn't even want them to catch on, so I'm really good about not using my phone in front of other people. So much so that this is probably going to be a shocking revelation for a lot of people in my life. So that's number one. It helps me be more accountable by being in like a public eye, right? So making these videos. Number two, I love making videos. It's a genuine passion of mine. And so this is a way to use this newfound time to be productive, I guess. And number three, probably most importantly, is that I'm guessing this will help at least one other person, right? Again, this isn't to guilt anybody into it. It's just to share my experience. And if it helps one other person, then it's totally worth sharing it publicly. So by doing these daily vlogs, and the first one is going to be day 8 today, I'm not only pursuing a video editing and video creation passion of mine, but I'm also catching myself, because every time I make a mistake, I'm like, this is a good reflection moment. This is a good chance to really showcase through a video the honest, real journey of breaking what is a seriously problematic habit. So let me briefly recap how the first 7 days have gone so that we're all on the same page as I post my first daily vlog of day 8. Again, I'm using this book, How to Break Up With Your Phone by Catherine Price, as a 30-day guide on how to effectively break the habit. So I tried to quit cold turkey on day 1, which, by the way, the book does not recommend. It actively says don't do that. And day 1 went really well, as it does for anybody trying to break any habit or addiction, and their method of doing so is cold turkey, right? So day 1 went really well until day 2 didn't, and then day 3 went better, and day 4 didn't, and on day 5, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna regain some control. And day 6, I believe, was when I decided to start making these vlogs. And that's also when I deleted all the social media apps, dating apps, Hulu and Netflix off of my phone. So the first 7 days have been a mix of feelings of feeling amazing and terrible and anxious and feeling sorry both about myself and about the way I've not showed up for people and organizations in the past. That's friends, family, partners, charities, student orgs. I mean, everything. Feeling sorry about that, being reflective, and kind of feeling emotional, especially as I talk about this with my friends who had no idea. So it's been a really challenging 7 days, but I think it's challenging in the same way that it feels to do a challenging workout. It's painful, it's a mentally exhausting task, it's a physically exhausting task, which maybe this isn't as physically exhausting, but you just know that you're going through all of that to be better. For me, right now, what I want more than anything else in the world is to have my time back and to feel like I have some sort of control over my life again, and to be present for all the emotions that I've just completely avoided for like the last 3 years. I want to feel those emotions again. I want to be there for that. I want to stop avoiding it. And no matter who you are, I hope you'll support me along the way.